Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Kingdoms. And check out that sunset. Is that not beautiful or what? Sun setting over Altum. We should probably take a little sleep, though, before things get out of hand and we get blown up by mobs and creepers and things. In today's episode, we are going to be kind of starting work on a new kingdom, actually. We're going to be... the kingdoms we're working on right now are not completely finished. Altum is mostly finished, other than a couple minor things, but they're not really a priority. Annona, our farming village over here, is coming along. It's getting there, but most of what I have left to do here is pretty grindy stuff, and then there's a couple other structures that I want to add as well. You can see here I've been doing some terraforming. And this is going to be one big wheat field going all the way back to, like, over here even. This is all going to be wheat. All of this will all be one big wheat field. And maybe even to over here, but probably not. This used to be a birch forest right here. This was all a birch forest, just like this. And I've been very busy between episodes clearing it out because this is actually where our new kingdom is going to start. This kingdom is going to be kind of different from the other ones that we've built so far. I think this is going to go away. The previous kingdoms, Altum and Annona, were both kind of meant to be sort of small and quaint. You know, we'd have essentially... Annona is a farming village, really just kind of a small farming village, couple of buildings, some farms, things like that. And Altum is more of an outpost than anything else. This is not going to be that. This is going to be a proper city. We're going to build a proper urban city. And I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really good. I have some pretty big plans. So, what I want to do is I kind of want to start working out a block palette and kind of a general theme, design. Well, I shouldn't really say design. I should say a theme, a style, if you will, in this episode. I don't know that we're necessarily going to get a lot of building done quantity-wise, but it's going to be very important that we kind of set the style before we go crazy and start doing all sorts of other stuff. So we've got a little bit of a chest here. We got some builder stuff, builder's chests, if you will. And I'm thinking our block palette is kind of as follows. So we'll have polished diorite and regular diorite. We'll have smooth stone and stone brick. We'll have stone slabs. Look at the tones. That blends so perfectly with the diorite. It's almost like having diorite slabs. It's so close. I love it. So we'll be using smooth stone slabs. I also want to check. Yeah. That's that was something in my texture pack that I didn't intend to do, but I did. I don't know how I managed it, but somehow I changed that in my texture pack where the two half slabs connect and make this connected smooth block, which I really like. So we'll be using that as well. I'm also thinking we're probably going to use a little bit of birch wood because it blends very well. I don't think we're going to be using birch logs at all, so let's just put some of this stuff away. And then we need some sort of color. We need some sort of highlight block. These are all kind of background blocks, if you will. These are all kind of basic color tones. We need something that really kind of gives us a pop. And I've got a few ideas for that. I'm kind of thinking wool would be an option. Let's go take a look at what dyes we have right now. I think pretty much all of my dyes are in Altoum. And we'll see what kind of colors we have access to. There we go. Let's see. So we could go yellow. We could go red, and those can be combined to make orange. I don't think... Actually, you know what? Let's take a rose bush with us, because that's all the dye we'd ever need. Let's try peonies and lilacs. Do those make different color dyes? Pink and magenta? Okay, good. And then I think that's pretty much it for those dyes. I don't really want to use well, actually, we got a lot of lapis. We could probably make that work. Especially if we grab some bones, because we could do bone. We could do like light blue, maybe? That could be good. Oh, actually, light blue could be really good. Let's maybe try that out as well. Do I have any hardened clay? I don't think I do. That's okay. I think we'll be fine without it. I think I'm going to stay away from andesite for the most part in here. But I think that'll be good. Yeah. So let's just bring this stuff with us. And we probably want some sort of dark, like a dark wood color. Maybe acacia. That's very gray. That's very, very gray. But maybe dark oak as well. Or spruce. Spruce is always an option when it comes to me as well. Spruce is kind of the universal wood that goes with everything. So we'll bring some of that with us too. And let's just see kind of what we can come up here. Come on. There we go. Let's just see what we can kind of come up with here for a block palette. We're going to say hello to our sheeps. Hi, sheeps. And let's dye a couple of these guys. So we'll dye that one light blue. And we'll dye... Ooh, actually. Plant. Bone meal. Haha. We should have all three now. Good. So we'll just do a little bit of that. And I'll take those with me. And let's try out a few of these different sheep colors. So we've got the light blue, we've got magenta, we've got pink. I don't think I'm liking the pink. And pink is just red and white, right? Yeah, okay. Okay. What about blue and red makes purple? That could be cool. Possibly. We'll just dye a few different sheep here. Let's dye you as well. Okay, I think... And then I guess we'll just dye one, like a blue, one actual, like, blue. I just realized I don't actually have any shears, and I'm pretty sure my ender chest is actually sitting back at the new area. Now, this city, I don't think it's going to be the capital city of the area. I don't think I want to undertake, I think that's a little bit too much of an undertaking for this early, as to say, this is going to be our capital city. But it's definitely going to be a larger city. It's definitely going to be a lot more, well-maintained than, Anona and Altoum. It's going to have a lot more kind of ornate architecture. I'm really kind of leaning towards like a gothic architecture style. I think that could be really cool. How did you get outside, sheep? Stupid sheep. So why don't we go try some of these blocks out and see kind of what we think. And we'll go from there. All right, guys, I am back. So we've got a few different options here for colors. We could go red. We could go... I'm really thinking that this has kind of got to be a really light color of some sort. I'm kind of liking the light blue. I think that could be fitting. There's pink, which, no, not so much. Maybe magenta? That's too bright. Then there's purple, which isn't bad. Purple isn't bad. Where's my bed? Here it is. Let's just throw that down so we can sleep. We could also potentially look at, I think dark blue might be a little bit too dark. I'm kind of leaning towards the light blue right now. Although, we could also look at like light blue and dark blue. That might be the way to go, honestly. Although that's going to require a lot of lapis, which, I suppose there are worse things than that. Lapis isn't that hard to get, especially since I do have a beacon mine, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. So that might be an option. Let's also look at log colors. I'm not planning on using a lot of wood here, but there will probably be some situations where I'll need it. And let's look at the acacia. Ooh, that could be really good. It's a very gray palette, but I think if we make use of stained glass windows and some of these other things properly, I think it could be really cool. Let's maybe try something like this. Just see, how's that look behind? Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. Let me see what I can throw together here. Let me see if I can just kind of come up with a basic style. And I'll come back to you. All right, guys, I am back. And I think I've got it kind of worked out. This is kind of the style I'm coming up with here. It's very, I don't know. It's very gray. There's a little pop of color back there with some blue wool hiding behind. The roof looks kind of like this, which works. And it's really kind of, the detail in the actual frame is kind of worked in very subtly, very, very subtly. And it doesn't look like worn down and beaten up. This is kind of what I'm doing right now, just as kind of a temporary window. I'm not really in love with that, but maybe if we put some fences in there? Yeah, I don't know. We'll probably go stained glass windows of some sort. Maybe some sort of like yellow, or not yellow. Maybe some sort of like white stained glass, or blue or light blue stained glass could be really good as well. We can maybe put some fences up here just to add a little bit. I mean, at this point, it's kind of in the detail phase now. So now we can look at kind of working in some extra details and things like that. And we don't want to make it look messed up. That is one of the big things here that we're trying to avoid. So we're going to have to be kind of careful in some ways. But there are some things we could do to make it look decorative, but not destroyed, if that makes sense. So like, for example, maybe here we put some stone brick stairs. Maybe up here we put some stone brick stairs like that, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth there. We could potentially do an upside down stair like that, although that's starting to look messed up. That's starting to look a little bit too messed up again. I'm not loving that. Maybe we go, because we don't want it to look, we want it to look interesting. So we need texture variation of some sort, because if it's all one texture, that gets really boring really fast. Like this roof, for example, but I think it'll work in this case because it doesn't need, the roof doesn't need to look mangled. The roof doesn't need to look messed up. But if this wall was all just stone, it would look really dull, really boring. So the challenge here is going to be kind of making it interesting without making it look worn down. Because there's definitely a distinct difference. And I think especially in this texture pack, we have the tools to do that. I think we can pull it off. Here's a thought. Maybe right here, maybe we do something like this. Ooh, that's kind of nice. That gives me an idea. Maybe we do that. And then up here... Can I reach that? There we go. Let's take a look at that. What do we think? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I could get behind that. And we could potentially do some stuff like this as well, just to kind of detail it a little bit. Make it a little more interesting there. Maybe we put a fence way up top. Like up... Oh, I can't even come close to reaching that. This style of architecture, Gothic style architecture, has very, very, very high roofs. Extremely high rooftops. And very high buildings in general. But maybe something like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. And then we can maybe put a fence here and here as well. Because there's no slabs and stairs. There's no stairs for diorite. There's these stone slabs, but those really aren't a perfect match for the diorite either. But I think this could work. Something kind of like that could be nice, especially if we go with stained glass windows of some sort. Some sort of color to really give it some life. I think that could be really good. And then how did we have that? Was it like this? I think it was like that. I'm pretty sure it was the bottom half and then extending up. Yeah. I'm liking this. And this is just kind of like a basic house. This would not be anything beyond just a real simple house. In fact, this might get torn down just because this was just kind of something I wanted to put together to kind of get the style down. Where did I put all my birch? Am I out of birch planks? I seem to be. Oh, okay. Well, we'll make more. And by the way, I have like almost an entire double chest full of birch logs back in Altum from leveling this forest. And as we expand the city, there's a lot of birch to go around. So it won't be the end of the world. Up here, we could do... Here's a thought. How would it look if we did something like this? How would that look? Yeah. Not really a fan. We could do something like that, though. And that feels good. That feels good. We do want big high-pitched ceilings in these as well. But that's not bad. That's not bad. How's it look from a distance? And also, this building is really kind of a boring shape as well. It's just a rectangular building. So keep in mind as well that when we do more complex buildings that are larger and stuff like that, they'll look better because we'll have a lot more interest in the shape. This is just a very, very basic building, very rectangular, very simple. I think this whole plot is like, what, 7 by 9 maybe? Yeah, this whole thing is like 7 by 9. That could work, though. That could work really well. And we could... How would it look if we did something like this underneath the... Maybe? I could get behind that. That's okay. It's not bad. It covers up that birch, which I like. Like this lower part of the birch. I do like that. I think I like that better. I mean, it's a very interesting style. It's different. It's very different. But I think I could get used to this. Maybe we want to make that a little bit more colorful back there. That light blue really doesn't stand out the way that I thought it was going to. Maybe the blue would be better. Let's see. Do I have any? Yeah, I can use these to pillar up. Let's just give this a try and see how would it look if we did this. And oh, we should probably put a torch in here too, just in case. Okay. Stone? Oh. Fence. Let's see. What do we think of that? That color. It's all right. We'll figure something out for back there. I haven't really decided. I do kind of want to address one thing here. There has been some talk about how progress seems to have slowed down on this series and on kind of all of my series. And I just kind of want to address that really, really fast. If you're looking at, like, quantity of builds, like the number of builds that have been completed, I would agree that there are less than what we had, you know, a few months ago, for example. It is a lower quantity of builds. But the thing is, the builds are a lot bigger. They're bigger and they're more detailed, and that takes a lot more time. I'm actually putting more time per episode into my episodes right now than I was even like 2 months ago. And certainly a few months before that. And my time right now is my schedule is insane. I don't even want to go into it. But I'm actually putting roughly 1 to 3 hours, depending on the episode, into all of my videos right now. All of my Minecraft videos anyway. For the most part. There's a couple exceptions to that. Like, by the time this goes up, we'll have done a Let's Build. You'll have seen it, a Modern House Let's Build, which turned out surprisingly well, considering I'm generally horribly bad at Modern. But anyway, those 2 episodes combined took like half an hour of recording, which is nothing. That was a sit down and record and see what I came up with. But like, most of my Kingdoms videos, most of my Hermitcraft videos, most of my Design Tech videos, it's an hour at least, if not sometimes 3. Like when we built the skeleton farm, or not the skeleton farm itself, but the like super detailed beaten up entrance around the skeleton farm. I think the episode was called Skeleton Farm Entrance. That was like 2 to 3 hours right there, because it takes a lot of time to go through and add all the texture variation and do all the detail work. I mean, you got to keep in mind, I'm not using World Edit, I'm not using creative mode, I'm doing this all in survival. And the style that I build in, like my method to building is, if I'm going to build a wall like this, I'm going to place down, you know, all of these blocks first, and then I'm going to move to the next stage, and I'm going to add in, you know, other textures one at a time. So I do that. And then I look at it and I go, you know what? I think I want to add in some other stuff. So then I'll go grab another material, and I'll go back and I'll place, you know, all of those blocks, and so on and so forth. So, you know, even if I'm building, say, what is this, like a 7x4 wall, I'm not just placing 49 blocks. I'm placing a lot more than that, and then I'm looking at it, and then I'm going back and tweaking it, and then I'm looking at it some more, and I mean, it's a time-consuming process. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I absolutely love building. You think that I could put out like 3 Minecraft videos a day if I didn't love this game? No way. I would lose my mind. I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I'm feeling more inspired in Kingdoms than I have felt for any series in a really long time. I am absolutely loving this series and the way that this world is turning out and stuff. But, you know, progress, it's not all about quantity. It's not all about building a building in every episode, or, you know, making sure that every episode there's a new building added to the world or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about building and having fun and being creative. And, you know, if that means I take, say, 2 episodes to do one building that I'm really proud of, I would much rather do that than spend 2 episodes and have 2 different buildings. If you go back to like Welsknight's Realm and you look at some of those houses, I'm really not proud of those houses. They're not good-looking house. Some of the things, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some builds in Welsknight's Realm that are awesome, but there's also some builds in Welsknight's Realm that are really, you know, kind of just, I built them because I needed to build. I felt obligated to build something, and I'm really not truly happy with the way that they look. Like, they're okay, but they're not great. Whereas pretty much everything I've built so far in Kingdoms, I'm legitimately proud of. Like, I'm really happy with the way that this world looks after only, what is this, 27 episodes now or something like that? I mean, man, we've done some pretty cool stuff. Let's try out a couple doors here. I need to figure out what door I'm going to be using for these houses. I'm kind of leaning towards dark oak right now, because this is going to be kind of an upper class city, and the dark oak door feels very kind of classy to me. Yeah, dark oak door for sure. Yep, without a doubt. I think that's the best choice. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about that real briefly. And you know, if you feel otherwise, feel free to leave comments and feedback. I always welcome that stuff. Just, you know, keep in mind that it's not always about quantity. I think quality has something to say for it as well. If you look at like the Tudor builds over there in Anona, you look at some of the builds in Altum, you look at how detailed some of those structures are, I think there's really something to be said for that, even if it does take me a little bit longer. And sometimes it's about the creative process more than it's about the actual build itself. So, but yeah, this is our new, this is kind of our new style, I think. Let me know what you think of it. Maybe you'll hate it. I don't know. But I think once we really kind of expand on this concept and make larger and more extravagant structures, we're definitely going to have a cathedral here. And this is a very small building compared to most of what we'll see. This will be maybe like a standard smaller house, and we could build a couple of these. But we'll have, most of them will be far better looking than this, because they'll have a lot more interesting shape to them, whereas this is just a rectangle. But yeah, guys, I think that is going to do it for this episode, because I am certainly out of time. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.